Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our F1 23 Driver Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have the all-new Spanish Grand Prix layout to test out here. I say all new, it's two different corners basically that have been swamped around. The chicane's gone on the back part of the track, and well, that's really it. It's now a double sweeping right-hander here. Look at all these upgrades we have on the way. We had a couple that were successful. They were reliability upgrades that came in that worked out pretty well here now, as we're going to have a very nice and sunny, dry weekend here coming into Spain. So here in Catalonia, very excited for it now as we were touching down in the area, and you see a nice beautiful flyover of this absolutely gorgeous Spanish area now as we are ready to get rolling here in Barcelona. So very exciting circuit because this is actually going to be my first time testing it out. I didn't even, so I went into time trial and I got a setup, but I didn't actually test the setup. I just kind of winged it basically and hope for the best. So you're going to see my very first moments here on tracking, testing up this new layout of Spain as you would get on track here Friday for some practice now as we head through turn 1 and 2. And I feel like every Grand Prix weekend so far, I said it just feels a lot better than F1 22. Same situation here in Spain. I mean, last episode in Monaco, of course, we had that big crash there in turn 1, but aside from that and DNFing from the race, the car drove great and the track felt great. And the same thing could be said here for Spain. Track felt awesome here now as we go through the right-hander, and you can just pin it through there, which I was finding out as I went on. You have to do a quick lift through the final turn, and then you just pin it again and try to not run wide with those strict track limits. But yeah, practice went okay. We were P14 on the grid, on the leaderboard. Yuki Tsunoda, our teammate there, P11. We had a little bit of tensions with him in the last episode in Monaco there, with the team requesting him to, of course, give up the position as we're ready for qualifying on Saturday.
Rookie mistake in Monaco, Gary. It's sad that you had to end your good day on that. You're just going to push forward into Spain.
Yep, that's the goal. It is what it is. What happened, and we're just going to focus forward. You hear myself with Ted Kravitz. So I'm using some YouTube comments, and then we're going to put them with the AI of Natalie Pinkham and Ted Kravitz as well. I might use some of those reporter questions in the pre-race. Cut the audio out, at the right points, and then cut in with the own edit there. So stay tuned in the pre-race as well. Now is my first lap here underway in Q1. Now as we come through the final turn down this front straightaway, we're going to cross the stripe. It was an okay lap. It was P10 behind Hulkenberg and Zhou Guanyu, but we actually end up quite low on the board. 18th place, only in front of Alonso and Sargeant. We already know Alonso's going to drastically improve, I'm sure, here. So now, making another attempt late in the run. It's been a few episodes since we've made it into Q2. We've kind of had a stretch here where we struggled to get beyond this first qualifying session, and I was a little bit concerned we were about to see that once again here in the Spanish Grand Prix. Now, as we come through towards into Sector 2, we found about 0.2 of a second of improvement. As you can see, green on both sectors, thankfully now. But as we come through the final turn, only another extra 1/10.5, so 3.5 tenths, nearly 4 tenths better. P13 is what we go, which ended up not being enough here. Yuki Tsunoda, he's in P15, and we end up P19. Absolutely awful, actually, here in Spain. 4 tenths of a second off of Tsunoda. Logan Sargeant is the only one we end up beating. We got some work to do in Spain. Let's head to the grid.
Welcome along, everyone, to sunny Spain, specifically to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. So many great moments in Formula One history have been written at this very track over the years, including Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari back in '96. That win was in the rain. We might have better weather here today, but we're just as overjoyed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalonia, and the popular opinion in the paddock is that we never wanted the chicane in the first place. That's now been gone, the final corner is much faster, and at 2.9 miles and 14 turns, we await the Spanish Grand Prix. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, Zhou, Tsunoda, Gasly, Bottas, Russell, Hulkenberg, Albon, Ocon, Golden Boy, and Logan Sargeant. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Reporter John here. In the last Grand Prix, how did you feel when Yuki didn't do the team orders? And do you feel that you two will still have a healthy team relationship, or is it going to be a rivalry in the team?
I don't know. I mean, he was, of course, in his right own position to do what he felt like was necessary to help his race, so I don't even blame him. But it is what it is. We didn't really have a chat, so we'll see how it goes today. You hear everything in the pre-race, we're ready to roll, and actually look at the split strategy here. Basically, 10th on down is starting on softs while everybody else in front of them is all doing mediums. Russell on mediums there after starting further down the grid. We're ready to go racing.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway and the track temperature looks warm. That may or may not play into some of the team's hands in today's race. So as all the cars reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points in today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
All right, let's get after it today, mate. Send it into turn 1 today.
Wow, okay, you didn't let me do that in Monaco. We are ready to go racing then. How about the front row? It's a Ferrari lockout with the homeboy of Carlos Sainz leading the way. Can he hold on though down into turn 1? That is going to be the real question here. Myself and Formula 2 rival Logan Sargeant, former teammate as well, on the back row here. We are ready to go racing. 5 red lights. It's going to be lights out. We're underway here from the Spanish Grand Prix in Catalonia. Great effort off the line, and we head up the right side immediately. They've already got past Esteban Ocon starting far down the grid. There you see George Russell on the left side there on those mediums as we head down into this first turn. It's an okay start. Wasn't a lot of options for me right there, but we stay safe and stay clean. Up front, the battle is on. That's Charles Leclerc who just muscled his way past the Spaniard of Sainz. The home crowd not going to enjoy that one here now. As you can see, Verstappen, Perez 3rd, 4th, just behind Hamilton, and then Alonso 5th and 6th. And how about Lance Stroll? Actually a pretty decent qualifying effort, finding himself an 8th right now behind the McLaren of Lando Norris. Then the other McLaren of Oscar Piastri just behind Stroll. They're in the top 10. Again, we're seeing continuous improvement out of Oscar Piastri, the confidence building. I thought I was the best rookie to start the season, but over the last 2 to 3 episodes for sure, I would have to say that the edge right now goes to Oscar Piastri, who's just been on it. We might be ahead of him in points, but at the way things are looking right now, their car, McLaren, they are making steady improvements. I think they're going to find themselves, and Oscar specifically, in a better position than myself here a couple more Grand Prix down the road. In the next episode, we do have the Canadian Grand Prix, a home Grand Prix for me, so I'm hoping, of course, for best case scenario there as we continue on here. Now, as you can see, Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, the top 3 at the conclusion of lap 1. Now, P17 for us here, so we only gain 2 positions on this opening lap. Esteban Ocon immediately putting the fight to Alex Albon there as we head down towards turn 1. He would complete the pass, so up into 18th place he goes. Both Williams drivers, Albon, Sargeant at the bottom of the grid, 19th and 20th place. 33 laps of racing here. Pit window for the soft compound tire opens on lap 15 for us here. The mediums, of course, can go a bit further now. As you can see, on those mediums versus mediums, it's Sainz, Verstappen side by side, wheel to wheel into turn 1. Sainz pinched Max a little bit on the entry of the corner, but Max Verstappen just got that power, and we're already seeing that Red Bull switch get flipped a little bit earlier than I think that we are used to seeing, because here comes now Sergio Perez as well. He's not far behind the championship leader, of course, Perez is, but how much longer, as Verstappen seems to have found that form that he had lost now, but Perez could not quite complete the pass there in that moment on Carlos Sainz here. Now, as you can see, I myself struggling out of the final turn that allowed Esteban Ocon in the Alpine to go up my inside, and I really didn't fight him too much there into turn 1. I could have made it a little bit more difficult, but as well, just trying to be smart, conserve battery as well. We had a whole bunch of tussles happening up here in front of us now. Look at that, Hulkenberg right there going at it with my teammate Yuki Tsunoda, who's falling down the order. I'm actually able to get back past Esteban Ocon, so back up to P17 we go, right behind Hulkenberg there on the Haas, who was really slow on the apex right there. But Tsunoda, yeah, he dropped down to 15th place here now after starting a little bit better than that, so not a great race pace. We have seen a lot. The race pace pace in the AlphaTauri is a bit worse most of the time than the qualifying pace. Of course, there's been a few Grand Prix where it's the opposite now, as you can see, breezing through to the lead. Max Verstappen on top here now over Charles Leclerc, as now here I am setting up Nico Hülkenberg for a move. I got a way better exit out of the final turn. We drain our battery a bit now with the DRS, of course, that rear wing wide open on the lunge towards turn 1, wheel to wheel, but we enter way better than Hülkenberg can, and there we go, up into P16 now. 2 AlphaTauris here, 15th, 16th, and then just in front of us, it's the 2 Alfa Romeos, Valtteri Bottas as well as Zhou Guanyu. Yellow flags behind or in front of us, not quite sure yet, but I see some slowing up. It's George Russell in the Mercedes, who started further down the order. You see the smoke pouring out of the back of that Mercedes. It's going to be the end of the day for Russell here in Spain. Very, very unfortunate right there, as that's our first retirement of the day. Free position for us, so you know what, honestly, can't complain now. As we continue on lap 8, you can see on these softs now starting to lose some grip, and I was quickly losing grip in these softs and struggling to stay connected with the cars in front, getting a warning there for exceeding track limits on the exit of that final turn. That final turn comes at you really quick with the speed you carry through there. Yellow flags again. It's Ocon. I thought he was making a move on Hülkenberg, but no, he's pulling at a line because his race is coming to an end. The Frenchman is going to be out here in Spain there. The Alpine just a few moments after Russell here. It's day over for Ocon there as he pulls it to the left side of the circuit. No virtual safety car, no physical full-blown safety car on circuit, so we continue on and trying to focus in on sticking with Tsunoda here now. Battles for the lead continuing. That's Leclerc breezing past Verstappen with the DRS, so these two going back and forth, and here's an example of that a few moments later, lap 12. Well, Verstappen does it again. He goes through into the lead again over Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz, Perez, Hamilton behind. Fernando Alonso running P6 now over Lance Stroll, who's actually under attack from Lando Norris as we head down into turn 1. We talked about these improvements that actually McLaren have been making, and we are going to actually have a talk with Zach Brown, the AI talking with Zach Brown, Crofty, and Brundle will be in the actual through the grid later in the Grand Prix about those upgrades. Now look at this, into the pits here comes Tsunoda and others. They're going to pit earlier than my pit window opened after starting on the same compound, which I was a bit surprised by, caught off guard to say the least, and they're coming in not for mediums. Zhou puts on hards, and then I see the trend immediately. Tsunoda, hard tires. Albon, hard tires. Everybody that came in right there just put on the hards, and we're going to be putting on mediums one lap later. Here we go now, heading down into the pits. Now, there's a weird bump there on the pit entry that nearly caught me off guard. I was not ready for that. I don't remember that being in the last F1 game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall that being a thing. I could be wrong, but like I said, let me know if I am or not, as we're going to come in to put on that fresh set of mediums. My softs were worn. Tire wear here in Spain, higher than any track we've been to so far this season, to where the actual laps, as actually you see it right there, an issue on the right front. They were slow getting the tire on.
Sorry about that slow stop. Give it all you have. We've got time to make up.
As Mark says, yeah, we've got time to make up now. And look at this. This is how much time we lost. Logan Sargeant is up my rear wing here now, the only driver behind me currently. We are like 5 seconds behind Tsunoda. And this is when things start to get a little bit interesting here. A little bit wide in the final turn. Look at this. Sargeant was able to hang with me all lap long. Here he goes up the right side. There's a Hülkenberg Haas coming out of the pit lane. We're going to be ahead of him, but we actually lose out to Sargeant. Not what you want to see there. And he goes very defensive down into turn 1. Battles happening as well all over the circuit here in terms of the pit cycle. Verstappen's in. Leclerc actually has already made his pit stop. He's already kicked off the pit cycle, so he's going to probably come out in front of Verstappen. And, well, yeah, there you have it. Through goes Leclerc to the lead. They are also on hards, but remember, they started on the medium tire now. As you can see myself going for an overtake on Logan Sargeant. They're a former rival in Formula 2. Around the outside we go. And thank you very much. I will take the position from him and continue on with my day and try to, well, quite simply drive away from the American rookie now, as I don't really want to be battling with Logan Sargeant right now, but it's just the situation we find ourselves in because of the poor pit stop with the right front wheel. Getting a little bit stuck. Warning for exceeding track limits. That's our second warning. I backed out of it, and that allows Sargeant to go back breezing past my right side, and now it's getting a little bit frustrating. A driver that we're so much quicker than. Now lap 18, a huge run with the DRS. We're going to go to the right side of the track. Sargeant's going to shut the door. We nearly have to go all the way into the pit lane there just to get around him. What a idiot, dude. He'll never change. a few choice words right there for Logan Sargeant. We continue on. However, now P16 is where we're running now. Everybody's coming through to set the fastest lap. It was like everybody and their mom was setting the fastest lap right here. But P16 closing in. But watch this. Look at Nico Hulkenberg, who had gotten past Sargeant. We were now driving away from Sargeant, but Hulkenberg absolutely blew the doors off of me on a doorless car. But we are closing in on a few drivers in front of us. That was Zhou Guanyu, who both Hulkenberg and myself ran down very quickly. Now, I was wondering, I was a bit curious about why we had run the Alfa Romeo driver in his second season in Formula 1 down so quickly in just a span of a lap or two. Well, it turns out he actually had some wing damage that he had picked up from a tussle with somebody. You hear me asking about it right here, and this is where I found out that he had some wing damage. So immediately I'm going to try and put the fight to Zhou, who's really struggling with that downforce. We're going to lunge one up the inside, maybe. No, a little bit of contact right there, and there's a Williams around. That's Alex Albon, who's gone for a spin, and he actually reverses across the track in front of Logan Sargeant, who hits him and gets damage. You see the replay, he just throttles up, goes around, hits reverse, and Logan Sargeant, oh my goodness, nowhere to go, and the two Williams collide. Sargeant in the pit lane at the end of the lap to replace that front wing. Day ruin there for the American rookie now as Albon continues on in P17, but now we're going to go through the grid here in Crofty and Brundle's moment of the race.
To the top, Max Verstappen back out front here in Spain. That Red Bull is so fast here today.
Credit to Ferrari and Leclerc, they held on as long as they could here today.
We've talked a lot about McLaren recently, and while things are pretty calm, we've got ZAK Brown on the pit box coming to us live. ZAK, you got us?
Yep, I got you, boys.
ZAK, great race you guys are having so far. Norris in 7th and Oscar in 10th. But what has allowed you guys to have such a turnaround compared to the first few races?
A massive amount of determination, Crofty. We have been working so hard, we've brought an upgrade package every few Grand Prix so far, and will continue to do so. Our season start wasn't ideal, and we acted on it.
What about Oscar ZAK? Do you fancy him fighting Lando soon?
He's getting closer every race, so I guess we'll wait and see.
All right, thanks, ZAK, and good luck with the final 10 laps.
All right, there you have through the grid, which was more of a kind of a pit moment, a pit road interview right there with ZAK Brown. We're going to have that as well periodically through the season where team principals as well are going to come in, like Christian Horner for Red Bull, to have a chat here now as I'm getting information on my teammate of Yuki Tsunoda, lap 23, that he's actually slowing down. Problem with the car. He has outpaced me all day long. This is going to be heartbreaking for Tsunoda because here we are closing in on him very quickly. Now Hulkenberg just got past him and it wasn't going to be long until here I am all over the back of Tsunoda, lap 25, down into the braking zone. He locks up actually there. That nearly turned into collateral damage right there. Zhang was nearly right into the back of him, but we would continue on. Lap 27, now pulling away from Tsunoda, who was probably going to fall all the way down to Zhou Guanyu before this Grand Prix was over, but there was still one more overtaking opportunity, and that was going to be Kevin Magnussen. Now, he was way ahead. However, he was just like Zhou Guanyu, dealing with front wing damage, so his pace, well, as you can imagine, was struggling. Nico Hulkenberg just now passing him, lap 29 of 33, so now it's going to be 1.3 seconds between myself and Magnussen. I had no pace for Hulkenberg. He was continuing to drive away 3.2 seconds up the road at this point here, coming to the final 3 laps of this Grand Prix, but now here we are coming to just 2 laps to go. I go wide out of the final turn for the 3rd time, and you get the 3-second time penalty, so there it is. Immediately realizing we got to complete this pass on Magnussen and then run for our lives here as we head side by side into turn 1, easily clear, but the damage is done on the time, and we have some work to do very quickly now. We have less than 2 laps to go, and we need to find 2.5 seconds over Kevin Magnussen. Can it be done? That's the question. While we were approaching the final lap, we had found only 1.1 seconds, so it wasn't looking very good. Final lap underway, and we have a battle right here for 8th place. Lance Stroll defending over Piastri, who sends one up the inside, and a little bit of contact right there, but the Australian rookie goes around the outside, takes a position from Stroll. It's not over yet. Stroll really slow through the right-hander. That brings Pierre Gasly into the mix for Alpine there, the only Alpine remaining in this Grand Prix. He lunges one up the inside now of Stroll as well. Lance, not much he can do there, almost like he has wing damage after that contact, I think, with Piastri now as Verstappen rounds the final turn.
As Verstappen wins the Spanish Grand Prix.
Max Verstappen, top of the board here as we come through the final few corners. It's P13, but no, it's not going to be because the gap only 2.1 seconds. I'm not going to find a second in a nearly full throttle corner. It is what it is. We're going to cross the line for P13, but with the time penalty, P14. My tires were destroyed by the end of that Grand Prix, but you know, no difference between 13th and 14th. There's no points at the end of the day, but it is what it is. Yeah, driver of the day, Nico Hülkenberg, well deserved. He went on a tear there, so we're going to head to the podium for the celebrations.
A real team effort then, which has paid off in spades. A great victory here at the Spanish Grand Prix. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Well, there you have it. Now we'll check out the podium celebration with Verstappen on top now once again. Now, we of course were questioning him recently, you know, where he was having a lot of trouble. Specifically, Miami went really rough for him. Imola was not very good for him. When we went to Monaco, of course, started on pole, fumbled the start. He was on hards compared to Russell's mediums. He was just able to out-traction Verstappen down into turn 1, and Verstappen ended up second there. So here we are with a big rebound race for Verstappen. Potentially, I think he will be the World Drivers' Championship leader again. So he's back to where he wants to be. It's just now, can he keep up that consistency? Both Ferrari drivers of Leclerc and Sainz on the podium. Sainz in his home Grand Prix. Great to see him on the podium there, as you can see the finishing result. So our teammate of Tsunoda ends up P16 after the mechanical issue he was dealing with in the final moments of the race. He did pass Zhou Guanyu back though, so it looks like he got some power towards the end in the final couple of laps there, because he did get passed by him originally. Piastri gains a few more points there. He's up to 12th in the standings there, as you can see. Still Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Zhou, and Sargeant, the drivers without points on the season. Verstappen on top by 7 points and 8 points over Perez and Leclerc. 50-point advantage for Red Bull going into the Canadian Grand Prix, my home Grand Prix, in the next episode that I'm so excited for, and I can't wait to see you guys then. And that's gonna wrap it up for me. I'll see you guys in Canada. Have a great day, everybody.